Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out Entitled Parents. Story 1. My mum keeps on moving my stuff from my room. Hi, this is all new for me, so please mind any errors. This situation started a few months ago. I am 15F and I share a room with my little brother 7M, and a few months ago he started getting scared of random stuff in my room, for e.g. the coats hanging from my coat hanger and folded clothes, even my makeup bag from my desk. I simply told him to not be scared, as they are not monsters and are just objects. After a few nights he wasn't as scared, but with my reassurance he would be able to sleep. My mum caught wind of what was happening, and instead of telling him that the objects weren't monsters, she started to move my stuff, and it became a problem for me as I would not be able to find stuff in the morning. Like the folded clothes were my school clothes and I wouldn't be able to find them as she would be asleep and would be able to tell me, which made me late to school numerous times. Or when the weather outside was bad and I needed my coat, I wouldn't be able to find it as she would move my coats to places I didn't know. I started to get sick of it and told her straight up to stop moving my stuff, as it is difficult for me to find and causing me to be delayed in many things. She just told me that my little brother is scared and we need to do it, so I told her to at least move them to visible places where I would be able to see, but still it carried on where I couldn't be able to find my stuff and still be late. After my mum was doing this, my little brother told me he was no longer scared when I asked him, and he was in fact not scared a long time ago in his words. So I went to my mum with this information and she told me I probably forced him to say those words, which I did not. My brother even told her, and she kept on saying it was okay if he was still scared, and asked if I had forced him to say it, which he said no, yet my mum still believes I did. I went to my dad with this problem because I was getting many lates to school, which caused my attendance to drop from 98 to 86%, and explained to him my mum keeps on hiding my stuff because she believes that my little brother is scared of them, which makes me late to school because I can't find them. He then told her to stop, which she did for a while but carried on. Today was my first day in year 11 and I laid out my uniform the night before, and in the morning I woke up to not find it and be late for the morning orientation. When I got home I exploded to my mum to stop hiding and moving my stuff when my brother is scared anymore. It's more like she's scared of it instead of him, and stop because she's being annoying. Even when others told her to stop, she started shouting at me back, saying I'm a terrible sister for making my little brother suffer and not sleep in the night. I left to go to my aunt's. I don't know what to do anymore and I need serious help. Story 2. Cousin abandoned my niece at my house while I was camping. Over the week, my husband and I went on a camping trip before summer season with its glorious warm weather was officially over. We weren't at home and had no cell reception where we were. We left Thursday, September 7th and returned on Monday, September 11th. While we were away, my cousin left my niece still strapped to her car seat outside my house door on Friday, September 8th, and sent me some text messages. Remember, I had no cell reception where I was camping. I would never have known while I was gone. I saw the missed messages after I returned home. It wasn't a request to ask if I can help her. It was simply a message notifying me that she left my niece in front of my door along with a bag with her stuff for the weekend. She did not ask me beforehand if I could help her babysit. There was no possible way for me to know. Even if I knew, I would have still declined unless it was a medical emergency in the family and they had no other choice. I live in a rural area where everyone is on 30-acre plots of land, so no one knew my niece was there. I had no clue. The neighbors had no clue. My niece was literally abandoned in front of my door until Saturday noon, when my parents came by to drop off my parcels that were delivered to their house. That's when they saw my niece. My parents called my aunt and had her come pick her up. I can only assume that my parents, my aunt, and my grandmother scolded my cousin for leaving my niece at my door. When I got home, all I saw was the initial text message telling me that my niece was dropped off at my place. Then a string of very rude text messages and voice messages from my cousin calling me irresponsible for leaving my niece outside and endangering her. Because what if the coyotes in my area attacked the helpless infant? I'm just so frustrated. Story 3. Found this gem on a babysitting group I'm in. Thought it belonged here. Posting. Hi all. Our family is looking for a long-term nanny for our 3 children, twin girls, turned 3 years old in January, and newborn, due December 29th. The twins go to preschool in the mornings, Monday/Wednesday/Friday 8:30-12, so much of the time will be with the baby. Spanish speaking is preferred. A little bit more about the job. Pay equals negotiable weekly salary or $30-$35/week start date in December or early January. Schedule, MTH 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Some days you will get off before 4:30 and on a rare occasion maybe past 4:30. Wednesdays are usually a short day. Occasional Friday or weekends/nights for dates, sporting events, etc. Responsibilities would include childcare, grocery shopping, plus light housekeeping as time permits while children are at school or napping. Cleaning bottles, laundry, cooking nutritious healthy meals for the children, tidying/organizing children's room/bathroom and kitchen after meals. School drop-off/pickup required, we will provide a car. Must enjoy participating in age-appropriate educational and fun activities with toddler and baby. Must be up to date with flu and Tdap vaccination and infant CPR certified, we're happy to cover cost of the class and/or vaccinations. Must know how to swim and have water safety as we have a pool. If this sounds interesting, send me a DM and chat more. Later clarified that it is not a live-in position. Edit, I thought the same thing many of you did. However, when I reached out to ask if it was $35/HR or $350/WK, they clarified that they meant $35/WK. Edit number 2, as another commenter mentioned, apparently this same post is in another group, without a budget, a few hours away from where I'm located. The posters are two completely different accounts, two different families. I'm kind of wondering if this isn't something a little deeper than a parent with unrealistic expectations. Edit number 3, so apparently this post is circulating on several different forums in several different parts of the US. From Pensacola, to Panama City Beach, to Austin, to Charlotte, all by different posters. This is definitely deeper than a delusional parent. Story 4. My mom got mad at me for not wrapping my boyfriend's present in masculine wrapping paper. I just realized a day ago how incredibly weird this story is, lol. My mom's always had an extreme obsession with gender roles. The story I'm talking about happened last Christmas. I was sitting at the living room table wrapping my boyfriend's present, expensive black tea and hairbands. The wrapping paper was white with tiny black polka dots. My mom walked in and stopped as if she had seen me wrap a severed head or something. For a few seconds she stared and then said in a condescending tone, "Do you really have to use such a feminine wrapping paper?" I just remember saying nothing at first because WTF am I even supposed to reply? She saw this as an invitation to continue ranting about how I should change the wrapping paper and how it's inappropriate to give such wrapping paper to a young man. She got madder when I told her that she was the one who once told me my boyfriend isn't even a boy 'cause he has long hair, lol. She can be so weird. Story 5. A random woman insulted me for not agreeing to watch her child. So I, 26F, was sat on a bench finishing my lunch break when a random woman came and sat next to me on the bench. She has a toddler in a stroller. I'm getting up to walk away and she says, "Excuse me, could you just watch my child for 2 minutes whilst I pop into the shop? It's really hard to get the buggy in there." I felt bad but sympathetically I said, "Sorry, I'm just going back to work, but this is a fairly safe area, maybe you can keep the buggy outside and bring him, the kid, in with you?" The shopkeeper would keep an eye on the buggy through the window. She looks at me and says in a really mean tone, "But you only work just next door, I can tell from your lanyard. It only takes a couple of minutes." So I just said sorry and went to walk away as I'm literally 2 minutes towards the end of my break when she said, "You probably would have upset him anyway with the state of you." I didn't respond and carried on walking, but it made me feel crap, and on top of this I would have genuinely not minded helping if it wasn't for the fact that A, I'd have someone breathing down my neck for being late off break, and B, I know the shopkeeper and the area well and have seen countless people leave pushchairs, mobility scooters, etc. outside. Story 6. I put vegetables in all my food so my roommate's kid won't eat them. The mom is upset. I posted this in another forum but received a lot of. Story 7. My mother keeps venting to me and I don't know if it's normal or not. TLTR, my mother tells me about every single time she was abused as a child and vents to me about my father who has emotionally abused me for years. When I ask her if she can maybe share those things with an adult or go to a therapist, she gets angry with me. So I, 15M, was abused by my father since I was 3 years old, who separated from my mom, 47, a little time after I was born. I stopped visiting him after a major fight when I was 11. There were a lot of court cases and fights between my mother and him, which I had the pleasure of hearing every single time. My mother would tell me in detail about the contents of the fights that I didn't witness and tell me how destroyed she felt about them. If I didn't listen to her, because I didn't want to keep hearing about those fights, she'd huff and get very angry, talking aloud to herself saying things like, "I see that I have nothing important to say." And would keep rambling about how we didn't care about her, how she'd moved to another place with our dog, it would change depending on what animals we had at the time, now it's the birds, that she would never come back, and that we'd, me and my brother, need to do everything on our own. We both eventually learned to ignore those. Story 8. Airplane seat. Ah, Ryanair, definitely no Karen passengers or anything, right? Nuh-uh. PSST also don't mind the shitty formatting because I'm shit at it. Me you know the drill. Pretty self-explanatory. EK again, self-explanatory. Fa flight attendant. Yes, so I sat separate from my parents and siblings on a flight to Spain and well, I guess luckily I got a window seat. I don't mind if there's sick stuff to look at, but at cruising altitude it's just clouds. So by then I pull the blind down and get some writing done on my laptop or something. Most people are chill with it and respect my choice, but others not so much. And to a lesser extent just me sitting there. So I get on the plane, get in my seat, put my backpack under the seat and just chill while listening to music while taxiing to the runway. But this is a time that didn't happen. When I'm just sitting there getting comfortable when I get a tap on my shoulder. I think it's just a flight attendant, so I look up. Hello, so my son actually would like your seat? I think he deserves it more than you. I look over at this kid and he's on his iPad looking at me with daggers. Me, I can't do that, sorry. I pre-selected this seat so I wouldn't really move. EK, but I need the window. I hate the middle seat. Me, listen, I'd love to but I can't. Scoffs, fine. After takeoff, me, welp, that was good takeoff time to just chill on my computer for a bit, rolls down blinds, elegantly. Alright, I am absolutely shattered, so I'll write part 2 tomorrow. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.